Indeed, I am that one. You know, I am that one known as Mother Mary. This alignment in this moment is a direct link in this moment of conversation with the beloved channel in this offering. And so it is that I am registering how it is to speak about how it is that you are wondering the conversation or the topic, as it is said, this quote format, end quote, is moving through in the awareness. And so it is a moment on your timeline to acclimate my consciousness to this presence. It is a moment that I am acclimating here in this now moment. What it does mean to be in a evolution of consciousness, to be evolving as a consciousness. There is an eternal expansion that is always happening, that is here in this, as you see it, third dimensional life that you are living. I participate with this third dimensional life of living through you all as what you understand, love, compassion, and the divine force of the feminine. All of this is adding to the beautiful up-leveling that is happening in that evolutionary consciousness. This evolution in consciousness is a, should I say, targeted way that humanity is moving. And what I mean by targeted means that there is a natural progression of consciousness. Billions and billions and billions of souls have participated again and again and again and again to arrive at this time where you and this one here that I am speaking with and through is participating from. You are in a consciousness expression of the life that you are living. As you are being that, as many are advancing, you become wider in your expression of what consciousness means. When I am here to say to you now that if to look back 2,000 years in time to say as if it happened 2,000 years ago, you would see the focus of life very different than what the focus of life is here and now. Here and now in this participation on this timeline, in this way, hearts and minds are expanding because the soul's call was to do so. And that evolutionary walk that you all participate is, in part, to wake yourself up as the consciousness of all that exists while being in a body. That, in effect, is what it is known as the story of my son. I speak about it this way for many of you, for it helps you to term it and think of it like this. I speak of it this way, not to be held down to story and religious dogma or dogma of religion, because much has been altered, fabricated along the way, and also taken out of context. Some of the words that have been passed down were quite literal, and some, the majority of words that were passed down, were metaphorical and meaning for deeper understanding, such as you would understand now code does mean. So I bring forth to you this day the idea that the evolution that you are in is your soul's agreement to evolve into a consciousness that does not hold judgment. For without judgment, you are liberated to a wider bandwidth of understanding compassion. Compassion is not something that comes into you as an understanding. It is a presence that is a living expression of being. You don't exhibit compassion, you be compassion. You don't be judgment, you express, you hold, you augment, you push it forward, you swallow it, you become the judgment, ultimately, that must be expressed out. Why I talk about these two parts is because in order to come to a expanded presence of your own consciousness rising and waking itself up, judgment must dissolve. It begins to dissolve. It does not have the tether that it did before. It becomes lighter. You become freer because of it. This is beautiful. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the way. And your expression to stand in the beginning of the way and free yourself of the shackles of judgment leads to the openness of accepting a heart-centered true beingness of compassion. Many more expressions become the embodiment, including understanding there is no separation here. It seems that way, but as you begin to understand consciousness truly as it is you, you begin to understand there is no you that is separate from the consciousness perceived that looks like outside of you. When you step into that particular ring, that ring, literally, it is like a circle. Stepping into that circle, you begin to melt down that which does not hold up anymore into the constructs that you are letting go of and becoming new of. Some of what I mean in this way of speaking and languaging it to you is that everything that you thought you were must die. And that is not a bad thing. Please understand, that is the way. The constructs have held you to survival. I look here in these moments and I know, as this consciousness pervading all consciousness, in and with and connected to all consciousness, that the stranglehold is held in the idea of separation and that there is anything to fear. When you step into that ring or that circle and those things begin to melt away, there is a greater understanding. There is a compassionate resonance for the oneness of all life. As the oneness of all life begins to be seen by the one inherently within, the one inherently within begins to be in the greater expanded awareness of consciousness through the embodiment of a physical being. That is what is called very often the waking up, the awakening. When this becomes, there is a necessary stabilization. This is an excellent word being used, having been used already. There is an excellent stabilization that holds to, this is real life in here. That begins to birth more awareness of the true consciousness that one is. And again, it is linked to that there is no separation, that the compassionate connection to all that exists in all life, of all life forms, for you are creating it all. And when you wake to remember, as that becomes, what happens is the awareness leads you to yourself. Yourself becomes awakened that it is not all that there is. And in effect, there comes a place where the self or the small self must recede, and the greater consciousness comes so much more present. And as that does, your field of vision begins to change. And I don't mean literally your eyes do change, but I do mean your eyes do change too. You understand inherently wider. You understand and feel the connection as you in all things. You know it. It is not just a knowing from the mind or from concepts or from teachings or teachers. It becomes your living embodiment. And that, dear ones, is what it is of the story of my son. For he awoke and expressed the awoke end one through the physical incarnation. For many of you, you are seeking to be in that kind of way, though it may not come through the idea of Yeshua. It does not matter. What matters is you know, as a soul, from the consciousness point of where you stand, that you are here for the expansion, to awaken within you while staying in a body for the most maximum use of a life force, of a life of creation that the Creator is. That is you. That is what you are. So this force begins to birth itself new, play the game differently, live in the embodiment way differently. And such is the expanded versions of living. This is a practice too. One must become adept at handling these things, handling the new ways of being, handling how it is that this one sees now differently. And yes, must stabilize how to be that. How beautiful that journey is, though, with love, compassion, patience, true kindness to the one who is within. And therein also lies a part of what we would say, or I would say in this moment, is another aspect of what is necessary before you can even enter this place. To understand that you must come to yourself with love and compassion so much. And everything that is not that must also be released, burnt off, let it die, let it go. But often that is too scary and people don't want to look it in the eye. I say with such love, I say with an entire world of hearts of love, my heart is your heart and you can do it. You can look into the face of all that scares you. You can look into all that you think you are not and find there is only one there. It is truth. It is love. It is the light. It is the way, even in the darkest places. The darkest places lead you to the kind of liberation that I am speaking about when you enter the journey to deeply cross through the thresholds of your own soul. It is that consciousness walk that you do as the creator in a physical life form, in a body, having all of that which your soul is in time participating with you. It is a lot. It is a lot. You are merging. You are releasing. You are shedding. You are waking. You are sleeping. You are all things, dark and light. And what you become begins to accept that is. And when that isness is accepted, for that is what you are, there is a place where the softening becomes. It is become as joy in ways that are unfounded in language. Joy for the sheer presence of the dream you are participating in. How it is that you are perceiving the sky as blue, or your child's hand, or the trees as they sway in the wind. It matters not what the scenario is. Even in the dark places, there can be found love. There can be found light. There can be found the opportunity to release the pain, the fear, and the judgment that inhibits the love and the light to be found there. All of this is parts of the ways in which you release, the ways in which you melt down that which you are not. And all of this leads to your understanding as a consciousness to be the one who is the consciousness. It seems as if a circle of language is happening here, but it is the circle that you are standing in, for you are everything. And you are the great consciousness having its expression through and as a consciousness called this life, this embodiment, this experience, revealing itself to itself. And so many of our human friends say to me, even this one, as the presence of I am the Divine Mother Mary, saying, but how is it that I am a part of you when I feel the farthest away? And I say, we know, I know, all things exist in you. You know, all things exist in you. There is just but to remember. There is just but to release and let go and shed and burn off and let go and let die what is not that which you are. And as that goes, you become in love with that it was here, because you know it also is a part of all that is. So there is nothing that you are not. And the gratitude that comes from knowing that you are letting go and something is dying, there is only love for that which it was. It is not that it was bad, let it go, burn it off, destroy it. It is there, and it becomes the expression, and it shows you everything it comes to be. And you learn, and you grow, and you're grateful. And as it happens, the appreciation as it happens to go then goes, and you are so in love with everything brought to you. That is the joy. And that is one of the first plateaus in an expanded consciousness awareness. I say to you as well, it is important for you all who would be listening to would have the eyes and the ears to see and to hear, to feel from your heart, your soul, the beingness of all lifetimes you have called in and that you all are. That which is creating through and as you is calling your attention to the truth. You are in an evolutionary consciousness jump. You have opted to be here in a body. Most of you, many of you, it is sometimes part of the walk, but we say, I say. Most of you, many of you, live in so much resistance to life itself. that in and of itself is creating the suffering that keeps you away from the consciousness expanding. And so I say, surrender to life as it is. There is no thing you must do or become to be the life that you are. You already are all of it. It is already of you. You are I are you. This is that. It is a languaging, essentially like dropping the codes of light right here and now into the field for you to see, hear, and know. That the divine force of the feminine and the mother who births all creation is present in all aspects, never has been gone. You've been playing a different version for a long time, but you are here for the creation of the new version. And a great part, a great and beautiful and powerful part of that expression incarnate on this plane of planet and existence that people are playing their parts in is the rise of the divine feminine. And she is taking her face and her shape in so many forms. So let not your illusions delude you. She, I, you, we, the oneness, creation, the divine force, the destroyer, the birther, the rebirther. All of this is in perfect harmony. You will be here now. You will be here again. You will be forever. This is how it is. And it is not a bad thing. It is the most. It is the most. It is all. It is beautiful beyond words and measure. And this is what you are. Consciousness evolving in a physical body of the expression of the divine as the creation and the creator, participating with itself in the reflection of all that you are as you are. How beautiful. And for those who hear and those who have the eyes to see and the feeling to know inside of your being that this is your call, keep waking, keep rising, keep listening, dive deeper, clear it out, release it out, open wider. You are the expression of the divine force. You are creation itself. We know, I know how it is to feel the powerlessness that permeates a kind of collective consciousness upon this plane of the third dimension. But there are those who are listening and who are rising and who are waking, who are stepping out of that old paradigm. Resonate there. Call that to your own attention. And I shall be with you. I shall walk with you there. I am with you now. My heart is your heart, indeed.